But come around the back and have a look at the suspension layout. I want to point out a few key things that a few people don't realise. Now, the Evo 10, similar to previous model Evo 6, was probably similar, yes and no, but more importantly, the Evo 10 is a dedicated turbo four-wheel drive car built by Mitsubishi. If you look at the Ralliart Lancer, which is the WRX competitor of the similar year model, it's built on a front-wheel drive platform converted to four-wheel drive. The Evo 10 high-performance version is a pure platform built for a four-wheel drive turbo car, so the suspension pickups and the geometry is far better. So on our other video, which you'll be able to see online, is you'll see when we compare this model to the Ralliart model, and you see dramatic differences in the suspension. So the Evo 10, when you compare it to the Evo 9, has got much better suspension layout, because the Evo 9 and 8 and 7 was effectively a four-wheel drive car converted from a front-wheel drive non-turbo Lancer. So of course, not quite as good in its geometry, layout and performance. So you'll see on this particular, being the Evo 10, it's got a pressed steel rear subframe, alloy rear lower control arms, and the geometry, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the specific differences, but it is obviously different. You'll see this car is fitted with a mandatory rear white line sway bar and our rear springs, and you'll notice the brakes on the back of this one are obviously bigger again as well. And what we'll do is we'll go over and now have a look at the 9, and whilst you've got the brakes fresh in your mind, you'll see this rotor obviously is not as big as the Evo 10. And one thing I'll point out, I'm not going to talk about diameters, but effectively the rear brakes on the Evo 10 are the same size as the front brakes on that same year model STI. So it gives you a bit of an idea how much bigger the brakes are on Evo 10 compared to that current model STI. But look at the rear suspension on the Evo 9. Cast alloy rear subframe, lower control arms here are alloy. Obviously still a coil-over shock absorber rear suspension, not a Chapman strut or McPherson strut rear suspension like in the STIs. But again, similar layout, but different enough to be able to not make any of the parts fit between the 9 and the 10. And of course you'll notice sway bar is a completely different orientation as well. Now this particular car is a completely standard car. It's not our R&D vehicle. This belongs to one of our good clients, and he's allowed us to show you just some of the standard parts because obviously it's a good reference. A few other points that I've made a particular point over is the floor pan on the Evo 9. We spoke about that was converted to a four-wheel drive, whereas the floor pan on the Evo 10 is completely different to the current model Ralliart version. Obviously this model's got the faithful 4G63 with our alloy head and cast iron block and a timing belt, rubber timing belt, whereas the new Evo 10 has got the all alloy block and alloy head with a timing chain. And obviously we've spoken about the other components of the differences between brakes, steering and suspension. One thing I will point out, as an owner of having both cars, Evo 9, Evo 10, same horrible turning circle. So if you want to buy a car that's got a really good turning circle, you'll never buy a Mitsubishi Lancer turbo model. That said, it is good in a way because of what it does. It limits your angularity on full turning circles. So if you're a bit aggressive on the acceleration and doing a U-turn, you're less likely to do damage to your outer drive shaft joints because you don't have as much angle when you come to doing a tight turning circle. One of the other things that's pretty obvious when you look at the front of the car is the Evo 9 doesn't have fog lights, whereas the Evo 10 does. On the fog light comment, this particular model does have fog lights, but doesn't come factory fitted with bulbs. Some models overseas do, but if you want an upgrade, you can contact us. The other thing I'll point out is if you want a HID upgrade for your model, in obviously this case being the Evo 9, it can be done. And I must say, as a previous owner of an Evo 9, with our HID upgrade, I would never go back to the factory lights. And in fact, when we sold the car to the new owner, he chose to not take that kit, and I really noticed a huge difference in the factory lights. So if you want to improve your lights, get the HID upgrade aftermarket through MRT, you'll be glad you did. Both cars come factory fitted with water spray, but I must point out, if you've got the MR model in the Evo 10, it does not come with factory standard water spray on the front man intercal. If you want that, contact your local MRT performance outlet. There's an option for that. And also I'll point out, if you've got a factory standard ECU, the auto function on the Evo 7, 8 9 and 10 does not work no matter how hard you drive the car, because the factory settings in the ECU will never turn the water spray function on. But if you've got an upgraded ECU using Ecotec software or one of our power kits, it will work correctly. That's probably about it from a complete rundown between the Evo 9 and the Evo 10. I will point out that the MRT power kits for both models from an improvement point of view are similar. You're looking at about 20 kilowatts for the XA kit and 40 kilowatts for the XB kit on the Evo 9. The XC kit is a special order only. We can do an upgrade for you. Contact us about that. The Evo 10, 20 kilowatts for the XA kit, 40 kilowatts for the XB kit. And if you've got the SST transmission, it dramatically changes the shift mechanism or the shifting pattern in the electronic control of the electronic gearbox as a result of the upgrade as well, so there's a double benefit for you there. Obviously, for more technical information, you can refer to our website at mrtperformance.com.au and keep watching these videos for more R&D updates as we provide the opportunity to help you learn more about your car. I'm Brett Middleton, thanks for watching.